In today's session, we're going to talk about HCM extracts. So if you have to extract some information from HCM Cloud, so this concept is specific to HCM and it's not there for other modules like financials or SCM. So if you want to extract some information from HCM Cloud, apart from BIP and OTBI, so if it is a financials or SCM modules, if you have to build outbound integrations, what you have to do is outbound integration means you're extracting something and sharing it with other systems. And if you have to build outbound integrations in financials and SCM modules, you will have to use either a BIP or an OTBI report. Okay. But if it is a HCM cloud, you can use, apart from BIP, OTBI, you also have another option called HCM extracts. Okay. So what is the benefit of using HCM extract when you can create your own BIP report? Okay, say for example, you want to extract employee and their assignment information. Okay, say for example, client has asked you to generate a report or generate an extract with employee and their assignment information.
Hi, Prasad.
Sela, I think you need to join Ravi's meeting link. This is not the right one.
Yeah, I tried to join that meeting. Says it's not started, so I thought that's why we.
No, you will. It will work. Try after a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a different batch altogether.
Okay. Sorry about it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So if you have to, and if you need to extract employee and their assignment information, probably, what do you do? And you need to generate an extract with this, or probably a CSV file with employee and their assignment information. So you can write a BIP report for that, or and if you have to write a BIP report, you have to write SQL queries yourself, build the data model and all that stuff, right? Which we have covered in the previous sessions. Or you can probably create an OTBA report as well. But apart from these two, there is another easier option called HCM extracts. So in simpler terms, what Oracle did is, in BIP, you notice that it is difficult to write SQL queries, right? It is difficult to identify tables, joins, etc., especially for the functional consultants. So what Oracle did is, okay, it has created some SQL queries and it has exposed them as user entities. So what Oracle did is, in HCM extracts, Oracle created SQL queries and exposed them as user entities. So in OTBI report, how did we build OTBI report? We picked up subject area, and under a subject area, you have dimensions and you have attributes, right? You have something similar here as well in HCM extracts. In HCM extracts, you will have user entities, which is nothing but an SQL query that Oracle has written for you. So all you need to do is, if you have to build an extract which will pull employee and their assignment information, you need to create an extract, HCM extract. And in the HCM extract, you will search for a person user entity, employee is usually referred as person in HCM. And you will include you will pull all the details from related to the person that you want to include in the extract. And then if you want to pull something related to assignments, you will search for assignment user entity. You will search for assignment user entity and you will pull the details. Okay. So the way it works is, how do you build a HCM extract? So we'll go through the slides later on. So to build HCM extracts, you have to go to My Client Group and go to Data Exchange. Remember, this is the same navigation option that we used in the previous session as well when we have seen the HCM data loader, right? So you click on Data Exchange. And it is called Yeah, we've seen HCM data loader in the previous session. So after data loaders, you've got an option called HCM extracts. In HCM extracts, you have to go into extract definitions tab to define an extract. So you can define an extract here, and you can refine it further if you want, change some options, and then you can submit it from here. And as I mentioned, in HCM extracts, you don't need to write queries. Oracle has already written those queries for you, and they have exposed it as user entities here. So if you go to user entities, you can search for user entities like persons, assignments. So any details you want to pull related to assignment, all you need to do is search for user entity called assignment and use it in the extract. You don't need to write any query for yourself, and you don't even need to know what are the tables working in the background. Okay. So yeah, that's okay. So let's go ahead and create a HCM extract first. And the way and what we are going to do in today's session is we will create a normal extract first. So when you create an extract, you can build it in two ways. Okay, you can build a normal extract. Okay, so you can build a normal extract, or you can build an incremental extract. Okay, so a normal extract means based on the parameters that you pass to that extract, information will be extracted from HCM tables. And it doesn't matter it doesn't matter how many times you run the extract. Based on the parameters, it will always pull the same output. Okay, but in the case of incremental extract, the way this works is when you run it for the first time, it will pull all the details. And when you run it for the second time, if there are no changes done in the application, say for example, you have built employee and their assignment details, or say you pulled employee details. Okay, you ran it for the first time, all the employee details will be pulled. And after that extract run, no employee is updated. And if you run it for the second time, the incremental extract will not pull anything because there is no employee that has been updated after the previous run. And if you pick up an employee from the first extract and if you run it for the third time, okay, so first time, the way incremental extracts work is first time, full set, second time, no output should be blank in case nothing has been updated. Okay, in case no employee has been updated. And third time, what we do is before we run the third time, we're going to see this in practical today. After the second run, what we do is we update one employee. We will update one employee. And then we run the extract for the third time. And when you run it for the third time, the output will have only one employee. Okay, so this is called as an incremental extract. So HCM extracts by default have some built-in support for incremental extracts. So it's quite easy to build an incremental extract. So to explain it on a high level or to give a recap, HCM extracts, you can build two types of extracts, normal extract or an incremental extract. Normal extract, it doesn't matter how many times you run it. Based on the parameters, yes, the output will be generated and the same output will be generated. But if you go to incremental extract, it works in an incremental way, meaning when you run the extract multiple times, it will only fetch the updated records. So when you run it for the first time, it might probably pull all the employees in case it's an employee extract. Second time, if no employee is updated, output would be blank. And then we pick up one employee from this full set and we update it. And when we run it for the third time, you will notice that only one employee is pulled. So that is how the incremental extracts work. So in real time, you might come across a scenario where client might ask you to build a normal extract. And sometimes client might ask you to build an incremental extract as well. So we'll see how to build a normal one. Today, we'll start off with a normal one. And I will also show you how to build an incremental one later on. Okay. Now go to extract definition. And in this extract definition page, you will be able to see see the extracts that exist in the instance. You can create a new one, and you can import the extract you have built in a previous instance. So if you have created an extract in the dev instance, and if you want to migrate it, what do? After you create an extract, you will see an export option here. If you export it, an XML file gets generated, and that XML file you can import it into a next instance or a higher instance. Okay. So this is to create a HCM extract, and this option you will use in the dev instance. And when it's time to migrate the extract from one instance to another instance, you will export it after you build and test the extract. It will generate an XML file, and you will log into the SAT or UAT instance, and you will use this import option in that instance to load in the extract. Let's go ahead and create a new one. And what is it that we are going to pull here? So we will pull employee and their assignment information. Okay, so we are going to pull employee and their assignment information. So we'll call it as, we'll call it as a HCM extract. We don't give a detailed name. We just call it a TF15, or let's say employee HCM extract. Okay. And you need to give a start date. You can go with a default date. That's fine. And you need to pick up a extract type. So this type depends on what information you're trying to extract in this. So depending on the use case, you will have to pick up an appropriate one. So if you are extracting core HR related information, you can select either a full profile or a HR archive. If you want to extract payroll related information, you can pick up one of these two. If you want to extract a recruiting related information, you will pick this up. So depending on what information you want to extract, you will select the appropriate type here. And I want to extract HR related information or a people related information, which will be available in core HR. So I'm selecting HR archive. And this checkbox changes only. It will help you to build an incremental extract. Remember, I told you that there are two extracts you can build, right? You can build a normal one, which is what we are doing now. And you can also build an incremental extract if you want. For incremental extract, you will enable this. For normal extract, you don't enable this. So you uncheck it and click on OK. And that will create an extract. Extract is created. And based on the type you pick up, there will be a parameters that get added automatically. Okay, for HR archive, yes, there is a parameter called effective date automatically added. Okay, and in a HCM extract, there will be 3 tabs. You will define it first, which is what we have done just now, and you will design it. This is where you will mention what details you want to pull as part of this extract. And this is where you will select the user entities on all that stuff. And after the design phase, you will also set up a deliver options. Okay, you will also set up deliver options. Deliver options are quite important in HCM because what are you doing with HCM extracts? You are generating a file from HCM Cloud, and that file needs to be delivered to some other system. And how do you do that? You will deliver the file to UCM. Okay, so every ERP, every HCM cloud instance or ERP cloud instance comes with a content server or UCM, right? How do you access that? If you take the instance URL and put a CS at the end, that will take you to a content server page, content server or UCM or web center content. Everything means the same. Just think of this as a place where you can upload and download the files. And whenever you want to load something into cloud or extract something from cloud, we usually do it via content server. So what we do is from HCM extracts, after we design it, we set up deliver options to deliver the output to UCM or web center content. And then what the other system will do, the other systems who needs this extract, they will pull the file from this. Content server. They will do it with the help of integrations at their end, and we don't need to really bother about how they do it. There are some web services exposed by Oracle which the other systems can invoke and pull the files. They will pull the files from here and they will consume it, the other systems. Okay, that is the approach that we follow in HCM extracts. So you go to Design tab and start setting it up. And in the Design tab, you will have a hierarchy like this. The hierarchy that you will have is, just give me a moment, guys. The hierarchy you have is you will, in an extract, you have something called as a data group at the top. Okay. And on the data group, you will have, so you will create a data group first, and under a data group, you create a record, and on the record, you will select the attributes that you want to pull and include as part of your report. So the example for this would be, say for example, you want to pull the person information. So what do? You select a person, you create a data group called person, and at the data group level, you will pick user entity. Okay, you will select the user entity at a data group level. And what is this user entity? Whenever I say user entity, think of it as a basic SQL query that Oracle has written, okay, to make your life easy. So you will select the user entity at a data group level. So if you want to extract person information, you will select person user entity. Okay, you will select a person UV. UV stands for user entity. And what do? You will create a record called person details. And after that, you will select all the attributes that you want to include. Say, for example, you want to include person number. Okay, and you want to include person first name. And you want to include person last name. So this way, you will include all the columns that you want to, or that the other system needs from HCM Cloud related to persons. So client would tell you what columns he wants to have on the extract. So you will select those attributes on the record. And when you create when you create a HCM extract, you can also have a parent-child relationship as well. What that means is you can have multiple data groups. That is allowed. You can have multiple data groups. Okay. And if you have multiple data groups, you need to, and when you use multiple data groups, you don't even need to worry about the join conditions. Say, for example, you want to pull employee and their assignment information. Then what do? You create two data groups. First data group, you create it as an employee, and you pull the employee details, and you will add another data group to pull the assignment details, and there will be a parent-child relationship between them. So we are going to, in the normal extract that we are going to create, we will create an extract with a parent-child relationship so that you guys understand how to use multiple data groups. Okay, so we go ahead and create a group, and in a HCM extract there should be at least one data group, which is called as a root data group. Without a data group, extract will not get compiled and you will not be able to run the extract. So there should be at least one data group in HCM extract, but you can have multiple as well. And the first data group that you create in extract is called as a root data group, and you call it as a person. and you need to select the user entity. And this is what I was talking about. What makes HCM extract quite popular option when it comes to extracting information from HCM Cloud is this part. Because this part is making our life easy. Oracle has already built thousands of user entities, and depending on what information you want to pull. So if it is related to a person, you will select person user entity here. If it's related to assignment, you will select assignment user entity. If it is department details that you want to pull, you will select department user entity here. So this is like Oracle has written queries and exposed them as user entities. And what do I want to pull here? I want to pull person details, right? So you click on the user entity drop down. That will show you a list. So what do you see in here? You see a few user entities showing up, and they will have a specific naming conventions. It starts with PER_EXT, indicating that it's HCM extracts, and you will have _UE at the end, indicating that it's a user entity. And you could see what these user entities can help you with, right? You can make out from the name itself or from the description. So this user entity will help you with the national identifier information. This user entity will help you with organization details. So depending on what information you need, all you need to do is just pick up that user entity and create a record based on that. So just use the search option and go to user entity name and search for person, because I want to pull person details here. So when you search for person, you see that there is a person user entity, and yes, it's extract person user entity. So I pick it up and I click on OK. And there is another option called threading database item here. This is again something that you will need only for incremental extracts. You don't need it for normal extracts. Okay. So this we'll see how to use it the next one. And you can apply filters if you want. So by default, if you save this, it will pull all the employees information, right? But a client might say that, no, I don't want to pull all employees information. Pull only the full-time employees. I don't want to pull a contractors or a pending workers. So in such case, what you can do, you can go to filters and you can apply additional filter clauses here. So say, for example, if client says that pull only the employees with a person type as EMP, what you can do, you can go to filters, edit it, and you can add in that filter condition. So when you come to the database items, you will see the columns. Select the column on which you want to put a filter. So you will select person type here. Click on plus icon so that it gets added to the filter criteria, and you select equal to. Click on the plus icon so that it gets added here, and select EMP and add it in. So I don't want to pull all the employees, but I want to pull only the persons who are of type EMP. Okay, so if you want to add in other conditions as well, you can add them in here. How do you add another condition? You click on operators and you say and you click on add, and condition gets added, and you can select another condition and you can write the other condition as well. Okay. And you can use this option if you want to undo one change. So if you click on this, it will undo one change that you have done. If you reset it, this entire condition gets wiped out. If you click on calculate rows, it will give you a rough estimate as to how many persons are meeting this criteria. Okay, so if you click on calculate rows, after this filter is applied, it will tell you how many rows are going to get generated when you run this. Okay, so you click OK. Click on OK again. Not sure why we are getting this issue. I believe we have got, I'm not sure who has loaded in, but earlier we had only around 3,000 employees who match this filter criteria, and extract will take roughly 2 minutes to extract all of them. But as you can see now, when I ran this query and click on calculate rows, it is showing around 16,000 employees. So if you, if you have such a payload, I mean, if you have a huge number of employees whom you want to extract, it might take a long time. So yeah, in real time, that's okay because you normally run these extracts overnight. But in a training session, it will be difficult for me to show the output. So what we do is we will do the same thing in a different instance wherein we have less number of employees. So I'll just go to ECPP instance. So we have started off with extract build in ECPP test, right? Instead of that, I'll be building it in ECPP instance. No change at all. The same user ID holds good in ECPP instance as well. That was shared earlier. I'll just quickly create the extract here. You go ahead and create a new one. I would say person HCM extract. And we'll quickly go to the design page. Pick up the user entity and you go to filters and you can apply the filter. System type equal to EMP and you calculate the rows. So this is okay. And one more thing you can do is, yeah, you can save the extract. And if you go to properties, you see that you have picked up a user entity here, right? So if you want to see the details of the user entity, there was an advanced tab available. You can view the definition of the user entity directly from here. So I'll show you how to do it when we add in the assignment data group. We're going to add in another data group now. I'll talk about it then. So we have added in a data group called person now. And we have selected a person user entity here, and we have applied a filter. And on this person data group, you will do a right click and you will add a record on top of it. And on the record, yeah, you give it a name again. You say you want to pull the person details. And you go to attributes and you save this. Only after you save it, the attributes get enabled and a plus symbol gets enabled after that. And if you click on the plus icon now, you can use any of these options in your HCM extract. You can include the database items or the decoded database items, or you can include the parameter itself that you are receiving into HCM extract. You can include it as part of the file, or you can create a fast formula and use it as part of the HCM extract. Okay, so I'm not sure if we have already covered fast formulas for your batch. In case it isn't done, we will see it in one of the future sessions. I'll explain what a fast formula is all about in that session. But in today's session, I'll show you how to quickly create one and use a fast formula within the HCM extract. So you will do it by using this rule option. And if you want to hard code some value, you can use string option. And if you want to do some calculations, you can use this. So you select a database item, and that will show you a list of database items that you can pick up. So you're seeing a list of attributes here, right? So these attributes are coming from the person user entity you have picked up. Okay, so here you can pick up whatever details you want to include as part of your report output or HCM extract output. You can select whatever columns you want to include in there. So you say person number, and you can include probably the person first name and the last name. Okay, you can include few more columns that might interest you. Scroll down. You can search with person and look at the details. So that's okay. We can probably include the business unit if it exists. It doesn't exist. Yeah, that's okay. You can search for the attributes you need to include or you want to include as part of your extract, and then you click on OK. And whatever attributes you have selected, those attributes will get added to the record. So when you run the extract now, if you run the extract now, a file will be generated, and that file will have employee details that will have a person details tag. And within that tag, you will have these XML tags with a person number, first name, and a last name details. And not all the employees will be pulled. Only the employees of type EMP will be pulled because we have applied a filter there, filter at a data group level. Okay. And you can have only one data group, and you need to have at least one, but you can have multiple as well. If you want to add a child data group, say for example, I'm printing few details about a person here, and I want to print the assignment details as well. I want to print the assignment details that this person is working on at the moment. So how do you do that? You do a right click and you add another data group. You add child data group, and you can give it a name. So you can say assignment, and you need to pick up assignment user entity here. So you click on the drop down, search for it. And you can select assignments. And if you want to see what is the definition of this user entity, if you want to see the query running behind this, you can click on advanced. And when you click on advanced, you can put it in there. You can copy paste the user entity that you have selected, and you can search for it. This will pull the details of the user entity. You will be able to see the details of it. And what does it do? If you want to pull assignment data, or with the help of this user entity, you can pull assignment data along with action details as an effective date. And you will be able to see the database items here. Okay. And if you go to query, you will be able to see the query that Oracle has written to pull this information. So if you look at this query, you can paste it in here. Okay, so you see that there are quite a few columns, right? So there are probably hundreds of columns there. What Oracle did is it wrote all this query for us. So we don't have to worry about identifying the tables and writing the join conditions, and we don't need to worry about when to use outer joins and all that stuff. What Oracle did is it has queried all the assignment related tables and it has exposed those details for us as a user entity. And all we are doing is making use of that user entity in HCM extract. Okay. So yeah, that is a benefit. This is the biggest benefit of using HCM extracts. And you can also figure out what are the extracts using this user entity in this instance. In this instance, there could be many other extracts, right? So how many of those extracts are using this user entity? So that information you can figure out from here. Extracts using this user entity. Okay, so this viewing the details of user entity, you can do it from here. You can do it from the HCM extract creation page itself, or you have a separate navigation option as well. So if you go into a data exchange, you will have a separate navigation option under HCM extract called view user entity details. So that will also take you to the same page. And if you look at this, okay, let's save this. Save the user save the data group. And if you could see the two groups are added now, and there is a parent-child relationship now, right? And if you go ahead and click on person extract, how many tabs do you see? Two tabs, right? Properties and filters. And on the properties tab, you selected the user entity. On the filters, you can apply filters. If you go to assignment, you will see three tabs in there. Properties, where you select user entity. Filters, if you want to apply any filters on the assignments. So if client says that don't pull all the assignments, pull only assignments of a specific type. If client gives you a criteria to filter out some assignments, you will apply them as filters here. But this middle part, what is this? Connect data groups. So this connect data groups will show up on the child data groups, and it will have links automatically created to the parent data group. So if you look at the links, there are some data links automatically generated. So what are the links? So it is linking up assignment a person ID with a person ID. So if you see here, extract person ID, this is coming from person ID, and it is linking it up with extract assignment person ID. So it is like you will pick up the person ID from the employee, and then on the assignment user entity, you search for assignments for that particular person. Okay, so there are three join conditions that are auto-generated. So for the employees that we have in this instance, we don't have a legal entity ID or a person type ID populated properly. Okay, so, and again, for you to link a person and assignments, just the person ID will be sufficient. So you don't need these additional join conditions. But in real-time instance, even if you leave them as is, that's absolutely fine. But in this instance, ECBP or ECBP test, if you leave them out, you might not see any information about the assignments because the person type ID is not populated. Okay, so I'll take out these two join conditions. And just the person ID join will be sufficient. So this is like, yeah, for every person, pull out the person first name, last name, and the number. And then you also pull out the assignment details. And what details about assignment needs to be pulled? We didn't mention that yet. So you do a right click and add a record after that. And you can call this as assignment details. And you go to attributes, save it so that the plus symbol gets enabled. And you can select and add the attributes you want to include. So you click on the plus icon and you select the database items. You can select assignment name. You can select assignment number. And you can include few more columns as well if you want. But if you look at the columns now, so the columns that you are looking at now, they belong to assignment, right? That's because we have selected assignment user entity there. So depending on what user entity you pick up, when you try to add attributes on a record, only those attributes will show up. Okay, so if you scroll down, you can include few more details about the assignment business unit name. Yeah, that's okay. You can add as many columns as you want. All you have to do is use the search option and pick up and add the columns here. Okay, you can save it. And yes, we have defined the extract and we have designed it. We have two data groups, person and assignment, with a parent-child relationship. And we are pulling few person details. And for each person, again, we are pulling assignment details. Okay. And you cannot, there is one more step pending, which is to set up a deliver options. I mentioned earlier as well that setting up delivery options is quite important for extract, because end of the day, you are generating a file which needs to be delivered somewhere so that the other system can pick it up. Don't think that this is a report, or don't think that the user will run it and see the file for himself. You normally create extracts and schedule them, and the extracts will keep running in the background, and they will generate a file and they will push it to UCM, and the other system will pick up that file and load it. So this is not a report. So don't think of it as a report. Think of it as an extract. Okay, so delivery options, you can set it up by clicking on the plus icon. You can select where you want to deliver the file to. So there are three options available. You can email the output. You can upload the output to Web Center content or a content server or UCM. This is the option that we use in 9 out of 10 cases in real time as well. Or if required, you can also upload the file to FTP server. Okay, select UCM upload and select the delivery type to Web Center content. Click OK. And in this page, there is one important. There are two important points that you need to consider. So the output file will be generated with this name, with the same name that you use for a delivery option. So you have to correct it. So you have to say, you can give whatever name you want. And that's why I say TF15 person extract. Person HCM extract. And this output will be generated in XML format by default. So XML format might not be good in terms of reporting, but it is a preferred format when it comes to exchanging files or exchanging information from one application to another application. Because remember, once you upload this file, what are we doing here? We are uploading the file to UCM, right? So after we run the extract now, we will see that if we go into the content server, if you go into the content server, the file gets uploaded here. So since the other system is going to pick up the file from here and load it in, process it at their end, they usually do it with the help of integrations. Okay, they will build some integrations at their end and they will pull the file. And when they, for the integrations, XML is the preferred format. Okay, since we are using this HCM extract to exchange the information in the form of files, XML output will be generated. It will not generate any PDF or Excel output, and it is not required as well. This is not something that user will want to run and view it. It is not a report. It is an extract. So file gets generated in XML format. So you have to use an extension of .xml. Okay. And encryption, if you are generating some information or if you are generating an extract which contains some sensitive information, like say person SSN numbers or insurance numbers, or say if you are extracting some payroll related information. In such cases, you might want to encrypt the file because what we are doing is we are going to upload the file to UCM, right? And the other system is going to pick up the file from here. So when the other system picks up the file from here, you have a file going out of HCM cloud, and it will be pulled again by a different application, right? So there is a chance that someone can intercept that and they might get hold of the file. So even if someone tries to intercept the file or try to get hold of the file when other application is trying to pull it from HCM cloud, even then the person who tried to get hold of the file should not be able to read the content of it. So for security reasons, what we do is if the extract contains some sensitive information, you can encrypt it. So HCM extract support encryption out of the box. So you can click on this drop down and you can say PGP sign. And if you say PGP sign, it will ask you to select the encryption key again here. So what key do you want to use to encrypt the file? Okay. So we don't use it in here, but yes, remember, if you're generating some payroll information or if you're extracting something which might contain sensitive information, then you need to use encryption methodology here. So you select the encryption mode as none here, and you need to give some integration name. So you can give any name you want. I'll use the same name as that of a file name. And all you have to do is click OK. And the last step is to validate the extract. And when you validate the extract, you notice that the fast formulas will be used in the background. Okay, so probably tomorrow or the next week we'll see how the what are fast formulas and how do they work. But for now, just remember that in HCM extracts, as you build them, fast formulas will be created in the background by Oracle, and they will be submitted for compilation when you validate the extract. So you see that we have two detailed records, person details and assignment details. And for these two records, there is a fast formula created. And these fast formulas are submitted for compilation now when you click on validate. So you can do a refresh and see whether they're compiled or not. So you can see that yes, the fast formulas are compiled, right? Click OK. And you can click on done. And we have created an extract now, right? So you search for the extract. And how do you run it? You've got few options here again, self-explanatory. If you want to delete it, you can use this. If you want to export the extract, you can use this. If you want to make a copy of it, use this. If you want to edit it, use this. And if you want to submit it, you can use this option. If you want to lock it or if you want to see the hierarchy, you can use these options. You can run the extract directly from this screen. Okay, so you can click on this, but there is another option outside as well. I'll show you that option as well. So to submit an extract, how did I come in here? I have clicked on the last button, which is called submit extracts. And for every extract run, you need to give it a name. So we will say, well, use the same name and just say run one. And you select an effective date. You select today's date. And you can schedule this extract if you want, or by default, it will run as soon as possible. But if you want, say, this extract to run every day or every month or every week, you can use a schedule and define it. Okay, you can schedule it using these options here. So you can select using a schedule, and in the frequency, you can select one of these options, daily, monthly, weekly, or once. Or you can define your own schedule and use it as well. Select as soon as possible and click on submit. You will notice that the extract gets, it runs now, and it will generate an output, and it will upload that output to the content server. Okay, that will be the end result. Okay, it will take approximately 1 to 2 minutes to complete. And once it is finished, we will see the file that is uploaded to content server. Should get completed soon. Yeah, you could see that extract has completed. And you will have a bare minimum information available in here. But if you click on this, it will show you a complete information about it. So if you click on the run, it will take you to a different page wherein you will be able to see all the details about the run. So you see the general information where you see the status, whether it succeeded or not, or when, who submitted it, when, how much time it took to process. You will be able to see the criteria as well. You will see with what parameter it was triggered. And you can also see the instance details, like the delivery options. So you will see all the details of the jobs that are triggered, and you will also see the outputs that are generated. And the important bit is this delivery options. So if you expand it, so in the delivery options of the extract, what did we select? We have selected an option to upload the file to UCM. And what HCM extract did is, yes, it did upload. So it generated an XML output and it uploaded the file to UCM as well, or WCC. And whenever you load in a new file, say for example, whenever you create a new file in UCM, if you want to add a new file, what do? You click on new check-in and you upload a file. Whenever you upload a new file, a content ID will get generated. So when this HCM extract output is uploaded, this content ID was generated. So if you want to see the output, you can take out this content ID, copy it, and you can go to the content server, paste it in the content ID, and you can do a search. And you will be able to see the output. You can also search with the file name as well. If you remember the file name that you used in the delivery options, you can search for it with the file name as well. You can say TF15, and if you do a search, it will show you the file name. File names which start with TF15. So you can search with either the content ID or with the file name. And if you click on this eye icon, you scroll down, you will be seeing an XML file that is generated. So if you click on that, open the XML file. So this is the output that is generated by the HCM extract. Let me format it and I'll walk you through the output. Okay, so that's a 70,000 line output. And if you scroll up, you could see the employees. So there is so this output type is called as XML. So you will have tags, start tag and end tag for each and every attribute, and in between them you have values. So this XML output is absolutely fine for integrations, because because other downstream system or other system who needs to consume this file, they will be doing so with the help of integration. And in integration, XML is pure. In fact, XML is a preferred format. So what details do you see in here? You see a person record, and you see person records. And for each person again, you see the person details. Okay, so if you look at the hierarchy in here, it will exactly match with what you have on the extract definition. So on the extract definition, what do you have? We created person first, person data group. And under that, we created person details record, and we included 3 attributes related to person, right? We included a person number, person first name, and a person last name. So those details are pulled out. And apart from that, there are assignment related information of the person is also pulled. So there is an assignment record, and you can see assignment, and you can see the details, and you can see the assignment name, number, and a business unit name. Okay. So you could see 2 records coming up here. Don't think that it's a duplicate record. There might be some other fields which might be different for other assignment for these 2 assignments. So assignment name and number might be same, but there might be other attributes that might be different between these 2 assignments. Don't think that we've got duplicate records here. Okay. So if you have confusion, you can look at the other. You can look at the other person. I think it would have probably helped if you have included a few more columns. But yeah, all you need to understand is that don't think that these are duplicate records. These are probably 2 different assignments and there could be some attributes which are different for these attributes, for these assignments. And since on assignments, we didn't put any filter, right? So that's why you're seeing these 2 options showing up. Okay. But the key takeaway from this is, yes, the output gets generated in XML format. It will have the hierarchical structure that you have in your HCM extract. Like you have person details printed, assignment details printed for that person. Okay. And this is how you go and set up, create an extract. And when you create it, you can also put a filter on the assignment as well. We didn't do this, so that's why you are seeing probably two records for every assignment. So you can put up a filter called assignment type equal to E, so that you will see only one of these 2 records, one of the assignment records. So you're seeing 2, right? 2 assignments, right? So you will see only one of them if you put in this filter called assignment type equal to E. Okay. And this is how you create and execute a HCM extract, a normal HCM extract. Okay. And how does this normal HCM extract work? It doesn't matter how many times you run it. Depending on the parameters, it will pull the details from a database. It will generate an XML file and upload it to UCM. But in this, I can quickly show you how to use a fast formula. Say, for example, we go back in. Let's make a copy of this. Let's duplicate it. And let's say TF15 fast formula extract. Use fast formula in extracts. So I want to show you how you can use a fast formula within the extract. So just click OK. I'm making a copy of this. And HCM and the use case for this is okay. So at the assignment level, so the use case for fast formulas is like this. So we have a marital status column. So based on the person marital status, so if the person is single, okay. So in the extract that we have built now, all we did is we use the attributes that are available in the user entity, right? But if in some cases you might have to derive some additional attributes, and that too based on some logic. Say for example, in this case, based on a marital status, client said that client has asked us to add an additional attribute. So they want to see. So if you look at the output, I think we close the output. Okay, let me open up the output. So the use case is client wants to see another tag in here called a tax rate. Okay. And this tax rate, unfortunately, is not available. It is not available as part of assignment user entity. This is something that you need to derive based on some logic. And at the assignment level, there is an attribute called marital status, and that marital status can have three values. It can be yes, which means single, M means married, or it can be blank. So based on the marital status, we want the tax rate to be populated accordingly. Okay, so what do you do in there? In there, you can put in, you can say, what do you call? So we will print marital status as well in the assignments details, first of all. And based on that assignment details, based on the marital status, if the marital status is yes, we need to populate a value of 20 here. And this value, this attribute needs to be calculated or generated automatically, and the value needs to be populated based on the logic. So in such cases, in cases like this, wherein you need to generate some additional tax which doesn't exist in the user entity, what you can do is you can create a fast formula and you can write your logic in there. Okay, so we'll discuss more about the fast formulas in one of the future sessions. But for now, just think of it as a place where you can write your custom logic and execute it. So all I need to do now is create a fast formula which will give back a tax rate based on a marital status. And how is the formula going to look like? The formula is going to look like this. So we'll say if marital status. So this is a marital status database item. We'll select if marital status equal to yes, then we will assign a value of 20 to something called as rule underscore value. So we are just initializing an attribute with a 20 value. If marital status is yum, then 10, assign 10. If it is blank, assign 15, and then we return that value. So all we are doing is based on marital status. If it is yum, this formula will return 20. If it is yes, it will return 20. Yum 10. If it is blank, it will return 15. And we are returning that value using a return statement. Okay, so what do? We need to first, we have made a copy of this extract, of the initial extract that we created. And in this extract, let's go ahead and add in that, add in the marital status first. So you go to assignment details record, go to attributes, and you will see the marital status in there. Add it in. And let's also try applying a filter there on the assignments. So go to filters. And we need to, let's apply this filter called assignment type. Extract assignment type. So you select it and you select the extract assignment type, add it in, and you select equal to E, and you click on OK, save it. So this will take out the two entries for the assignments, because one of those assignments will have a different type. So we are picking only assignments of type E. And we'll not validate it. What we need to do now is we need to create a fast formula, right? So to create a fast formula, we'll leave that screen open. And let's log into the instance from a different browser, and we'll create a fast formula from here. And then we use it here in the extracts. And how do you create the fast formula? To create a fast formula, you go into setup and maintenance, Click on this tasks ribbon, go to search, and that will take you to global search and type in formulas there, fast formulas. Okay, and here you can create a new fast formula. And what is the formula that we need to create? We need to create a formula which will calculate the tax rate based on a marital status. So you give it a name. So we call it as a TF15 tax rate for HCM extract. And you click on the drop down. You need to select a fast formula type. So this fast formula type, since we want to use it in extract, you will have to use something called as extract rule. Okay, so be very careful while picking up the extract type because this is important. And if you don't pick up extract rule, which I've highlighted in bold here, you will not see this formula in the HCM extracts. So depending on for what use case you are writing a fast formula, you will have to pick up an appropriate type. So we'll discuss more about the fast formulas in a later session. So all I do was put in a backdate 1/1/1951 and click on continue. And all we do is for this session, we'll just copy this script and paste it in there. So I'll talk about this script. How do you write fast formulas? What is this syntax? So we'll go through the details in the fast formula session. All I'm doing here is I'm looking at the marital status database item. So in the fast formula, you can search for a database item and you can use it in the fast formula. And here you can search for marital status and that will give you, so if you go to description and if you say marital status, it will give you the database items which will have a marital status in there. Okay, so if you put a percentage, okay, so you will get the database items related to the marital status, and you can see the one that relates to assignment marital status. So this is the one, and this is added in the formula. And if I want to use this in the formula, what do? I pick it up and I click on add to formula. And when I click on add to formula, it gets added to the formula. Okay, and after it is added to the formula, I can write in the logic. So I've just initialized it to a blank value to avoid a fast formula from failing in case a person doesn't have a marital status. And I'm verifying if the marital status is equal to yes, I'm assigning a value of 20. If it is M10, otherwise 15, and I'm returning that value from the fast formula. So you save the formula, submit it, and then you compile it. We'll discuss more about fast formulas later on. And once it is compiled, we can go ahead and refer this formula back in the HCM extracts. You can see that the formula is compiled now. I can go back into the extracts, go to properties. I can click on assignment details and go to attributes. And I can add in the attribute that I have, add in the rule that I have created, a fast formula rule. So click on add and click on rule, and you should be able to see the fast formula that you have created. Search for TF15, select it and use it. If you are not seeing your fast formula here, it could be because of two reasons. It might be that it might not be in compiled status, or you might have not used the right formula type. Okay, so go ahead and add it. And you can change the name of the tag. So you click on the attribute and you can change the name of the tag. So you can probably change it to tax rate, or you can leave it as such. That's also fine. So you click OK. And then you save the extracts. Go to deliver option, see if everything is intact. Yeah, fine. And in the UCM upload, we will change this use a fast formula in HCM extract. I'll save it. And we go ahead and validate the extract. It is valid now. Go ahead and submit it. And it's a different extract. Select the effective date and run it as soon as possible. And we'll wait for 2 minutes. So now extract should be generated. And in the extract, you should see two additional fields in here. So you will see a marital status, and based on the marital status, you will also see an additional tag called tax rate, which will have a value again calculated based on a logic, based on the marital status. Should complete soon now. Okay, you could see that the extract is generated, and you can, if you want to see the details of it, you can click on it, click on the run. You will be able to see the file name or the content ID that is uploaded. Search with the content ID. Or you can also search with the file name. Format the file. And you see that the output that is generated now, okay? So you see the person details, and you see that the other assignment record that was showing up earlier, which has a different type, is filtered out now. You see only one assignment record, and you see a tax rate in there. And the tax rate, where is this coming from? This is not coming from a user entity given by Oracle. This is coming from a fast formula. And since a marital status is null here, you're seeing a value of 15 here. Tax rate equal to 15. And if the marital status is yes, the tax rate is showing up as 20. And similarly, if you scroll up a little bit, you can probably do a search like this. So for this person assignment, since the marital status is young, the tax rate was calculated as 10. So this is how you use fast formulas within HCM extracts. Okay. And the user entity, I've shown you how you can view the user entity details. So you can do it directly from the extract definition screen. So you can view the details about the user entity from the extract definition screen itself. When you add the data group, you can select the details of the user entity there itself directly. Or if you go back in the main navigation option also, you have this option called View User Entity Details. So even if you click on it, it will take you to the same page that I have shown you by clicking on the Advanced tab. Right? So when you click on Advanced tab in the HCM extract definition, this page popped up. So if you want to search for, say, a person or assignment user entity, any user entity, you can query it and you can see the details of it here. We have seen the same screen from the HCM extract definition screen. And when you create an extract, so we have created a normal extract now, right? And yeah, these are the list of user entities that exist in the instance. That's okay. And how do you migrate extracts? The way you migrate extracts is you will have to export the file. So say, for example, you want to migrate this extract. Okay, so you created this last save. So say, for example, you created this extract and you want to migrate it to a higher instance. Say, for example, you created 10 extracts and you need to migrate them to SAT or UAT. What do? From the dev instance, you export it. You click on this. That will generate an XML file. Don't get confused. Don't confuse yourself with this XML file. Don't think that this is an output generated by this extract. Don't think that this is an output. This is an XML file again, but it contains a definition of the extract, not the output of the extract. I see some students getting confused here. Okay, so you see an XML file is generated, but this file is not the output. Instead, it is the definition of the extract. So it contains all the details that you have selected in the extract. So if you want to migrate this extract to other instance, what do? Say, for example, I want to load this into ECBP test instance. Or say, for example, think of ECBP test as my SIT instance. What do? You go in there and you use the import option to load in the extract into that instance. Okay, so you go to My Client Group, you go to Data Exchange, and you can go to HCM extract definitions, and you can use the import option. If you click on import, you can give whatever name you want. You can say a TF15 extract migration extract. And you can untick the changes on the box, and you can search for the XML file that you have downloaded. So this is an HCM extract, a definition file that I have exported from dev instance. I can upload it in and I can click OK. So with just a couple of mouse clicks, you can easily migrate extract from one instance to another instance. So you'll see a status as to how the input is progressing. Not sure why it has failed. Save the file. We can try to open it in a notepad. Well, I'm not sure why we got this system error, but that's okay. This is a process you normally follow to migrate extracts. So you export the file, you pick it up, go to a target instance, and you load it in. But ensure that if there are some dependencies, you take care of them. Say, for example, I have picked up this extract for a reason. I didn't use this one because in this extract, we are referring to a fast formula, right? So if you are migrating this extract to a higher instance, In that higher instance, the fast formula that you are referring to in the extract should exist. Otherwise, the import will fail. Okay, so you need to take care of the dependencies first, and then you migrate the extracts after that. Okay. And before I open up the session for questions, I will quickly show you how to build an incremental extract once. So the way, as I mentioned, the way incremental extract works is it will only pull the changes or the updates that are done after the previous successful run. Okay. So we are going to create an incremental extract now. And there are 2 points or 2 or 3 checkpoints that you need to take care of. And after that, we'll run the extract. When we run the extract for the first time, all the employees will get extracted. We'll run it for the second time, and hopefully no one updates the employees in the backend. And if there are no employees updated, no one will get extracted for the second time or in the second run. And after the second run, we pick up a specific employee who has been extracted in the first run. And we will update the name or we'll update a specific property, and we'll run the extract for the third time. And in the third time, the output that is generated, you will notice only the employee who has been updated. So this is in some use cases might need you to build an incremental extract because it only needs to pull the changes every time it runs. So in such case, you will have to do few things differently. And I'm going to show you how to do it now. Okay, so to create an incremental extract, the approach is same. So just create a new one. PF15. Incremental extract. Give it a name, use a start date, and select the type as HR archive. That's okay. And ensure that you tick this box. This should be enabled for incremental extract. And then you go to define tab. You notice that apart from effective date, there are a couple of other parameters that are enabled. That's okay. Leave it like that. Go to design tab. Go to design tab. It is not letting me navigate to the design tab. Let me try to create and open the extract from Mozilla. Let's go to Data Exchange. Let's see extracts. Not sure if the extract is saved or not. Yeah, it is saved. Okay, let's. No need to do an advanced edit. Normal edit would be fine. So you click on it. That will open up the extract, and you go to the design tab and start building the extract. And in here, so we will we'll have only one data group this time because we know how to build an extract with multiple data groups. So that's okay. And in the user entity, you pick up person user entity. And one important change, or the first change that you need to, or that will be required for incremental extract is you need to enable the changes only tick box when you create the extract, and you need to select a threading database item as well. So this is a second change. And what do you need to select as a threading database item? You will have to pick up the primary key of the user entity as a threading database item. So if you're picking a person, you select person ID. If you're picking up assignment, you will select assignment ID here. So if you click on the drop down, you will be able to see the details and select extract person ID in there. And go to the filters and add in a filter. Let's select only the employees of type EMP so that it doesn't take much time to run. Okay, click on OK. Save the extract. And we can add in a record on this, and we'll just add a couple of attributes in there. Person details. And you go to attributes tab. And this plus symbol gets enabled after you save the extract. Save it. And you add in the attributes now. And select the person number. First name, last name. And let's also select the unique ID as well, the one that you have selected as a threading database item. Extract person ID. Add those attributes. You can include as many attributes as your client wants in here. And the third change that you need to do for incremental extract is go to the extract person ID attribute, and you need to enable two attributes in here, enable two checkboxes. You have to mark it as changed, and you have to select it as a key attribute. So what these two checkboxes will ensure is, it will ensure that after the run, if there is any employee updated, system HCM Cloud will mark that person as changed, since you have marked this person ID as a mark as changed attribute. And that's how HCM Extract internally identifies what employees has been updated after the previous successful run. So let's go ahead and add in the deliver options as well. You can say upload to UCM. Incremental extract, you save it, and yeah, the encryption mode is none, and you can select the same type. Okay, give an integration name and then save the extract. Validate the extract, and we need to run it 3 times. So this is the expectation now. So we're going to run the extract for the first time. First time, all employees should get extracted. Second time, no employee. Third time, before we run it for the third time, we edit an employee and update one of the employees. And in the third run, only that employee should appear. Okay. So let's go ahead and submit it. Submit the incremental extract for the first time. Let's call it as run 1. Select effective date. And there are 2 attributes here, changes only, baseline only. Baseline only, you can leave it blank. In the changes only attribute drop down, you have a few options available. So among these options, select changed attributes option. Okay, there are very few differences between these options. If you are very much interested in what exactly are the differences between these options, you can go through the documentation. But we usually use changed attributes here. So select changed attributes and then kick off the request. I've mentioned it as well in here in the PPT. Okay, so you go ahead and submit it. And what will happen? So first time it will pull all the employees and it will generate an XML file and uploads it to UCM. Let's wait for the extract to finish. Okay, the extract has finished. And if you go into UCM, again, you should be able to see the file uploaded in there. So you can see the content ID, and then the file would have been uploaded to UCM. So copy it. And copy the content ID, and you can search for the file. And if you look at the file, by default, yeah, everything should be extracted because this is a first run of the incremental extract. I think I opened it in Firefox. Let me open it with a Notepad++. So this is saved to a temp folder, that's why it's not getting formatted. Let me save it to desktop. And if I format it, you can see the details now. You can see that the person details are extracted, all the person details, and the person first name, last name, and the person ID details are extracted. So this is a first run. And if you go ahead and run it for the second time now, so after this extract is submitted, hopefully no one has updated any employee in the instance now. And if you go ahead and run this extract for the second time, since we have built it as an incremental one, it will go and check if any employee has been updated after this run. And if nothing has been updated, you will see a blank output. So if you go back, and if you go ahead and submit another request. So to submit another request, yeah, you can use this option again. We have been using it so far. And to submit an extract, we also have another option here called submit extracts. You can use this as well. And you can search for the extract. Give it a name. And it is run to. Expectation is a blank output. select the attribute as changed attributes only, and kick off the request. And after this run, what we do is we will pick up one of the employee from this extract, and we'll try to update the name of the employee. So we'll probably prefix or suffix name, suffix new to the name, and we will rerun the extract, and we should see only that employee in the third extract. Okay, any doubts, guys? Any doubts in what we covered in today's session while this is running? Okay, I'll take it as no.
Prasad, I have one query regarding this one.
Yeah. Yes, Venu. Please go ahead.
Prasad, I am I'm extracting the contract employees right now. So for first instance.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Venu, we are not able to hear you.
But while we are running in the 8:45 time, he is a contract employee. After that, his status is changed from contract to permanent employee. So does it change, reflect here?
Yeah, it will be included as part of the second extract. So the way incremental extract work is whether it is whether the employee is updated or whether the employee is created anew, they will be included as part of the output. So if you change the if you update some details on the employee, yes, they will be included as part of the next run. Okay. So if you click on run 2 now, and you look at the extract delivery options, a file would have been uploaded to UCM. You can pick it up, go to UCM, search for it. So if you look at the output is blank because no employee has been updated after this run, right? So first time it extracted all the employees, second time the extract output is blank. But now what we do is let's pick up an employee and let's go ahead and update the first name or last name. Let's update one of the fields in there. So you go back, and how do you update an employee? You can do so from My Client Group. There is a person management option available there. So if you go to My Client Group, there is a person management option. Click on it, and you can search for an employee and update it. Let's pick this one, 1197. There are 2 employees here. Okay, let's pick up. So let's pick up another one. Let's say 3185. Yeah, let's pick this one. Otherwise, yeah, I've picked up one of the employees from the first extract and I want to update the name. So you see that Elder Eugene, there is a test in the last name. Let's take it out and save the employee. And click on the task ribbon. Select the person details. Can do an update or correct, and you can take out you can change the first name. I'm just updating the first name. I'm taking out the test keyword in there, test word in there, and I want to save the record. So all we're doing is updating one of the employee name, and we want to so that we will see if this employee gets picked up in the next incremental run or not. And let's search for the employee again and just confirm if the name has been updated or not. Okay, you could see that the name has been updated. Let's go back and run the extract for one final time. Give it a name. Call it run 3. Select effective date and select the changes only as changed attributes. And you can click on submit. And this time the output should have only 3185 employee whom we have updated after the previous successful extract was generated. And in tomorrow's session, we will cover fast formulas and sandbox. Okay, when in the first hour, we'll start off with fast formulas first, and then we cover sandbox after that. Okay, 2 topics for tomorrow. Fast formulas again is a HCM specific concept. So in case you belong to a different batch and if you're not interested in fast formulas, you can skip it and you can probably dial in you can probably dial in at 8 o'clock if you don't want to attend fast formulas. So we'll start off with fast formulas and then we cover a sandbox, which is UI personalization option. Okay, any questions, guys? Any questions on what we covered today?
Prasad Shatrughan here. See, the run 2 and run 3, although we expect that it is fetching either a blank output or only one, but why it is taking so much of time? It's like what the time amount it has taken for run 1, it's taking the same.
The reason is it needs to compare the outputs that are generated and it needs to see what has been updated previously. Yeah, ideally it shouldn't take this long, but in real-time instances you might see a better performance there. Okay. Yeah, the incremental runs it should not take much time, but internally also it has to do few bits. Since we have built it as an incremental one, it has to do few bits, like it has to identify first based on the person IDs what has been updated, and then it has to extract it. Yes, the extraction time should have gone down, but there is an additional lead time of comparing the output with the previous baseline extract, right? So that goes on in the background. So that takes a bit of time. But usually, to be frank, it doesn't take 2 minutes in real-time instances. So, yep. Yeah. Yeah, you could see that the extract is completed now. Look at the output. Go to extract delivery options. Copy the content ID. Search for it. Okay, so if you look at the output, it has got only one employee now, whom we have updated. Okay, so this is the first extract, all employees. Second extract, no employee because nothing has been updated. Third extract, it has pulled the employee whom we have updated before running the extract for the third time. Okay, so you have all the details in the PPT, guys. So please go through it and practice it. I've also mentioned a couple of Metalink notes which might help you guys to understand, or if you want to deep dive into HCM extracts further, you can follow some Metalink notes that I have given in there. So let me share this PPT also with everyone in the chat here, because the PPT that I shared earlier, I believe it doesn't have a couple of slides that I am showing today. So let me share the file, share the PPT here. You can copy it. Yeah, please copy the PPT, guys, and we'll meet again tomorrow at the same time.
Prasad, one question. In case if there are multiple changes in the source system, then how this records will be updated? Means sent into the new system, another system. There will be multiple records, or only the latest record will go?
No, if there is any time gap, it depends on whether the extract is triggered after the or in between the changes or not. So when the extract is run, it will look at the updated definition. So what you're saying is you made an update and then you changed it to something else again, and you run the extract after that. So your doubt is whether it will send in 2 records or 1 record. It will send in only 1 record, and that too with the latest details. So at any point in time, it's plain and simple. So it looks at the state of the application, it looks at the updated employees, and it picks up whatever details are there in the system at that point, and it will push it to the downstream systems. So we usually schedule these extracts to run at less frequent intervals, so that you don't miss out on the changes. Okay,
thank you.
Prashant, kindly share the last week video. Still I have not received that video links. This is Shashi Kumar.
Yes, Shashi Kumar, I will highlight this to admin, but yeah, admin is the person who has to upload the videos and share the link with you guys. So I'll ask him to do it. Okay.
Also, I need last week Saturday, Sunday PPT. I'm not down.
So the PPTs are, I'm not sure if you attended. I've already shared all the PPTs we are going to use in the sessions to admin. So did you receive any email from them with the PPTs?
Regarding PPT and video link, I'm not received any.
PPT, I received it actually in the email, all the technical documents.
Correct. So that was sent out. So in case
I'm not received it.
if you have not received it, send an email to admin@rainbowtraininginstitute.com. If you don't get a response, on the website, there is Ravi's phone number. Please call him up and tell him that you didn't receive the material. Okay. I will also highlight it from my end. I will also tell them that yes, you didn't get the materials. But how about others, guys? Are videos enabled for you guys? The last weekend videos?
I have the access to the videos.
Okay, then it's a problem only for you, Shashikumar. Please reach out to the admin or call up Ravi and ask him to enable the videos.
Okay, I'm going to call today. Ready? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. We'll meet again tomorrow then. Thank you.